All right, guys, what we're going to do for the last 2 weeks of school, we're going to review everything that we've done this semester. I want to start out with a statistics review. And what I'm going to have you do for your assignment is you're going to have to answer a question like this where you're given a set of data and you have to give me the mean, median, mode, max, min, Q1, Q3 range, and IQR. But I just want to give you some background information on what those vocabulary terms actually mean. Okay, so the mean is your average. How you do that, you add up all the numbers and divide by however many numbers you have. And if you're using this calculator and you want to find your mean, you hit data, first variation stats. It's not going to say mean. Sorry. It's going to have an X with a line over it. So that X with a bar over it, 48.35. That is your mean. So often seen as X bar, said X bar. Okay. Median is the middle. So if you put your numbers in numerical order, it's exactly in the middle. If you have an even number of data points, you have to average the two numbers in the middle. Okay. The mode, that is the number that occurs most often. Okay. Special cases for mode, sometimes you don't have a mode at all. Sometimes each data point only occurs one time. Okay? And you can have more than one mode. So if you had a data set where the number 50 occurred twice and the number 54 occurred twice, you would have two modes. Okay. Examples for how to find those. To find the mean, you add up all of the numbers. So in this data set, Fiona had the following test scores on her math in her math class. So these were her test scores. She had 8 of them. That means she had 8 tests. You add those numbers together, and then you divide by 8, and then that's how you find your mean. Your median, well, there's 8 test scores, so you have to find the average of the middle two numbers. The middle two numbers are 85 and 88, so add those together. There's two numbers, divide by 2. So your median is 86.5. Your mode, that is the number that occurs the most. 90 occurs twice. No other number occurs more than twice. So that is your mode, 90. Maximum is your largest number. So if you put your numbers in numerical order, it's the last or the largest number. Your minimum is your smallest number. It's going to be your first number when you're putting them in order, or your smallest. The range happens when you take your maximum minus your minimum. It's the difference between the minimum and the maximum. Okay. So in this example, Fiona has the following test scores, same test scores as above. You have to find the max. The max is 76. Actually, no, it's not. These are not in numerical order. The max is 95. The minimum is 72. So you take 95 minus 72, and that gives you 23, so your range is 23. Okay, the upper and lower quartiles, that's Q1 and Q3. The nice thing about your calculator is that it will calculate this for you. But I just want to show you where this comes from. So Q1 is if you have a data set, you split that data set in half, and the lower quartile is the median of that lower set or that lower half. See, we split it in half here. This is your lower half. You take the average of the numbers 76 and 77, and you get 76.5. Okay. The upper quartile, you're looking at the upper half of the data. So if you cut it in half, it's the other half that you're looking at now. And then you take the average of the middle. So you take the median here, 90 plus 90 divided by 2. 180 divided by 2 is 90. IQR, interquartile range, that is the difference between Q1 and Q3. So you find Q1 and Q3 and then you subtract them to find IQR. Again, your calculator can do most of this for you. So let's look at our example. says find the mean, median, mode, max, min, Q1, Q3 range, and IQR for the following data set. These are test scores again. These are, I guess, a little bit lower test scores than what Fiona had in our example. But for this one, these are our numbers. And for the interest of time, I have already typed them in the calculator. Okay. So we go to data. This is where I type it in. Okay. We have 17 total numbers, and I've typed in all of those data points. If you don't remember how to do this, you just hit data and then start typing your numbers. So you hit 37 and then you would hit enter, 41, enter. Okay, that's how I did that. To find the statistics we want, we have to do second data. It's going to come up to this screen, and then you want to hit enter, 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 enter. And this is the list that you need. So in number one, that's the number of data points you've had. You've had 17 numbers. X with a bar over it, this is your mean. This is the first number that we have to find. So that was 48.35. The median, you can keep scrolling down, is 50. The mode, the number that occurs the most, that's not going to be on your list here, but you can just look at your data set and see that the number 50 occurs 4 times. No other number occurs that much. So your mode is going to be 50. Your maximum, that's going to be in your list, and that's kind of easy to see as well. Your maximum is your largest number, so that would be 55. Your minimum is your smallest number, which is 37, or you can look at this list, and it's there as well. Okay, so we found the maximum and the minimum. I want you to skip Q1 and Q3 for just a second. I want you to find the range. The range is found by taking your maximum and subtracting the minimum. Maximum minus minimum is your range. When you take 55 minus 37, you should get 18. Okay. Now let's go back and let's find Q1 and Q3. Q1 is 46.5. Q3 is 51. Okay. Now we can find the IQR using that information. To find IQR, you take Q3 minus Q1. So that's going to be 51 minus 46.5, which is 4.5. Okay. So we did this together. What you're going to have to do, I'm going to have this typed up in modules, is I'm going to have you do the same kind of problem where you have to identify all those. I think there's 9 total things you have to identify, and this is your data set. Okay, this is going to be the problem you do on the modules. Okay. Now, if you don't have this calculator, let's say you don't have this calculator at home, if you go to modules in Canvas, and I'll show you. So this is my Canvas page. If you go to modules and where it says stats calculator, click that, click the link, and this is where you would enter your numbers. Whoop. So we have the numbers 37. In the interest of time, I just typed those in really quick. So if you type in all the numbers you have and you hit calculate, it's going to give you all of those values that I ask you to find. Okay, so we've got minimum, maximum, range. Count is just the number of numbers you have. Sum is if you add them all together. You don't need that. You need mean, that's 48.35. You can stop at the first 2 decimal places, the first 2 numbers after the decimal. Mode is 50, median is 50, Q1 is 46.5, Q3 is 51, IQR is 4.5. So all of that information that we did using the calculator, you can use this online calculator to do the same thing. And again, that's in modules under stats calculator. Just click this link and it'll show you where to go. Okay, the next problem I want to look at really quickly is a two-way frequency table. This is the reason I want to do this is because next year when you have geometry, you're going to have a probability section and you're going to have to look at two-way frequency tables. Okay, but this is just kind of a basics of two-way frequency tables. Okay, so this is the table I have. Question 1 says, what percentage of people like sports? So you have to look at the total amount of people surveyed, which is 50. So that's going to be your bottom number and your fraction. And then what percentage of those people like sports? So what is the total number of people that like sports? That would be 16. So if you do 16 out of 50, it's going to give you 0.32. 0.32. That is just 32%. Right? And the next question is a little bit different because your total is going to be different. Number 2 says, what percentage of males like sports? Okay, so you have to look at the total number of males, not the total number of people. Total number of males is 20. That's going to be your bottom number and your fraction. And then the total number that likes sports was 10. So that's going to be 10 out of 20. It's going to be 0.5, which is just 50%. And you should know that by, 10 is half of 20. The problems I'm going to have you do are 3 and 4. And again, I'll have this typed up. You have to try what percentage of people like TV, what percentage of females like TV. And I've given you the totals here. So the total for number 3, your bottom number and your fraction is 50. And then for number 4, the bottom number is 30. Okay, you just have to figure out what the top number is. Give me a decimal in percent. Okay.